Howdy, 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 my name's Anachi Sasuke. Welcome back to the Homestuck Epilogues. In the last episode, I believe we read about John and Terezi catching up on the things they've been doing lately. And it looks like in this episode we're going to be at the very least starting with Jane things, which I have been putting off because of how uncomfortable the last Jane things were. But it does sound like I need to continue the epilogues if I want Pester Quest to make sense. I also assume I'm going to have to read the other half of the epilogue, so that'll be a thing. Anyway, the elevator to Jane's office opens and she stumbles inside. The last traces of trickster mode are bleeding off her aura. The great gift of this sacred boon has run its course for the evening, and though she is not as graceful as she should be, she nevertheless acknowledges the extraordinary benefit it has afforded her with a slight nod to the mirror. She pulls a hand through her hair, watching in the reflection as the last of the pink coloration fades to black. She's been campaigning this way for some time now. In fact, it's been over a week since she was last seen in public without the aura bestowed to her by the divine Lollipop Juju. There are many benefits to trickster mode, in that it imbues one with an endless supply of enthusiasm and supernatural positivity. Additionally, it prevents one from dwelling on any given personal problems or the greater implications of any political statements one might make. However, while a great portion of the electorate adores Jane's elevated sense of charisma and presence when she's in trickster mode, as they should, there are just as many detractors who claim the whole thing is extremely problematic. I doubt this is true, but must also acknowledge it exceeds the scope of my expertise to comment on the subject. Oh my goodness, it is not problematic. I don't remember what voice I was giving Jane. Jane erupts alone in the elevator, seemingly talking to herself. She appears to be responding to her own inner monologue, which I admittedly am presently conducting. She appears to agree with me on this matter. The Juju has truly blessed her with great wisdom. I have endured this argument for years, and I honestly cannot see a single thing about it that could even be even thinly construed as problematic. Furthermore, despite the fact that I empathetically do not find it to be problematic, I have in the past politely refrained from indulging in the profane pleasures of the trickster lollipop out of respect for those who do find offense with it. However, citizens of the human kingdom delight in my tricksy antics, and what kind of politician would I be if I were to deny my core voting demographic that sort of red meat? Or candy, I suppose. To imply that I am superciliously and recklessly stoking potentially dangerous cultural fires is honestly an insult. I am guilty of only one crime, energizing my base. She is saying it better than I could possibly say it myself. It is unusually gratifying to witness a human with such high regard for hallowed cultural artifacts and the unparalleled blessings they bestow upon lesser beings. Wait, who am I talking to? Jane rubs her eyes under her glasses and groans. Trickster mode is also quite exhausting. What a strange quirk of human biology that excess euphoria must necessarily be followed by crippling despair. She carelessly tosses the lollipop on the floor, lurches towards her desk. No. She turns around promptly, her body jolted by the surprise of her sudden reversal. She bends over, cradles the lollipop reverentially, and situates it carefully in a place signifying respect. Atop the mantel, after clearing space for it by shoving several brittle, worthless objects to the floor. Only then does she drag herself to her desk, her legs shaking as if she's just run a great distance. The moment she sits down, her phone begins to ring. Yes? Yo, don't spend too much time in trickster mode. Is that all you have to say? In general, not by a long shot, but pertaining to this specific issue, yeah, because you should know better. At this rate, you'll burn yourself out. You'll burn yourself out before we even go to the ballots. Can you just trust me on this for once? I'm a bit too preoccupied at this exact moment to turn my chair backwards and rap at you about the dangers of dope. I know what I'm doing, Dirk. Do I need to remind you that all of this was initially my idea? In that case, how about we tap into some of the outrageous political acumen of yours? Dial back on the manic pixie dream candidate bullshit and focus a little more on substantive policy speeches. Oh, come on, Dirk. Both you and I know that isn't how politics works. Yeah, you're right. I can't believe I actually said that with a straight face. You say everything with a straight face. Another fair point. See, Jane, this is why you're going to clean his fucking clock in the debates. All I'm saying is, there are better ways to go about unscrupulously manipulating the electorate, then burning through your entire lifetime's supply of dopamine. Like, perhaps gaining the ever-vaunted endorsement of one Jake English? Exactly. You know, the last time we spoke about this issue, I could have sworn you asked me to let you handle Jake. I guess I did say that. Dirk, are you doing quite okay? It's very unlike you to forget details like that. I'm fine, Jane. The prince is not fine. He is not the type who takes well to having his plans upended or his control of a shared vehicle fully suppressed. My brother wasn't that much that type either. Oh, fuck off. I'm nothing like that guy. Huh? What guy? Forget it. I was talking to someone else. Who? Is someone else there with you? No, it's nobody. Let's just drop it, okay? Yet, unfortunately for everyone in the corporeal realm, the prince isn't the type to overlook the need for backup plans either. He devises contingencies for both success and failure. Wheels within wheels, as he likes to imagine. In his workshop, the prince machinates, while the seer both diminishes and ascends. He has been careful to make sure the precise nature of his activity is obscure. He closes his mind to all observation, he scatters many stray parts across his work table, and busies himself with a variety of misleading mechanical tasks to hide the true intent of his schemes from me. But certain objects in action strike me as more notable than others. That very long red rifle on the table, for instance. A weapon that does not belong to him and has not been used in a long time. He has been returning to the rifle between his other menial activities of probable misdirection. He dismantles it, reassembles it, slides off the receiver cover to examine the firing mechanism. The prince clearly believes he's a very clever boy. My brother did too. Christ! So, on the Jake issue, unfortunately my influence is a little limited at the moment. What does that mean? A whole lot of bullshit that I don't have the time or patience to explain right now. All you need to know is that I'm working on a solution to both my problem and yours. Until then, you should figure out how to get Jake to, at the very least, avoid taking a side. Actually, I have been thinking, perhaps this attempt to get Jake on our side is the wrong angle from which to approach this vexing problem. Wouldn't it be much easier to discredit or blackmail him? He is much beloved in the Troll Kingdom for his carefully cultivated posterior, true, but we both know that his bottom is not the only intimate attribute for which he is famed among trollish citizens. It would take almost nothing to expose his many dalliances through the human media. Ooh boy. I know! Not to be judgmental, but his zipper is as loose as his pants are tight. That's not what I meant by whoo boy. You don't think it would work? Oh, it could work. A certain illusion of boyish innocence is an important part of his brand. You contrast that innocence with the gyrating of his sinewy thighs, becoming raw, sweaty sexuality, right into the camera on live TV 5 nights a week. That's what makes Jake English work as a marketable commodity. The tension between the two, the inherent friction there. He's gotta look coy as all get out, like he has no idea how sexy he is. Like, if you actually got him into bed, he'd completely disintegrate to a blushing mess of hesitation and sexless uncertainty. Wow, I've never heard anything more preposterous in my life. Yeah, well, his fans get off on it. So what's the problem? The part of your plan that involves exposing his promiscuity with trolls in order to hurt his chances with the human vote, and thereby framing interspecies sex as an inherently scandalous thing? I don't know, Jane, that sounds pretty fucking xenophobic. Ah! Not again! What isn't xenophobic? Well, for one thing, what you just said there, probably also xenophobic. What? Sorry, that's just how it is. You either gotta roll with the woke shit, or decide to commit laborious, symbolic, melodramatic suicide in the process of utterly giving up. What? Yes, it is confusing, but that's why you're lucky to have me as your top advisor and strategist. The prince appears to have discarded the pretense of misdirection at his work table and is focused solely on the red rifle. He clicks the casing back into place, he sets the weapon on his shoulder so he can test the view through the scope. The setting sun bounces off the slick red metal and slices a bar of light across the wall behind him. Dirk, do you want me to deal with Jake or not? You've offered nothing helpful yet, but you've shot down all my ideas. That's because lately all of your ideas have been fucking terrible, Jane. Seriously, you've got to quit the trickster pop. It's rotting your brain. Said the heathen, the cur, a true Philistine. Jane's head swivels sharply to look at the juju on the mantle. She admires it longingly, piously. She will never relinquish her priceless boon, no matter what reprehensible lies the prince whispers into her ear. Then what do you want me to do? Play the defense for a while. Like I said, I've got some cakes in the oven, so to speak, but we can't set them on this cooling plates just yet, so go make some fondant in the meantime. Jane frowns. The baking metaphor felt like one contrived purely for her benefit and therefore condescending, and yet she hates how effective it was. She laments her own weakness for being so easily swayed by a well-delivered baking comparison. She lets the prince go and begins making her own plans. In his workshop, the prince lines up an imaginary shot. He pulls the trigger, listening to the pieces within slide and click together in a satisfying concert of metallic sounds, impeccably assembled, perfectly greased. The gun is not loaded, but the shot goes off without a hitch. What do you think you're up to, Prince? Your ass is mine, Jake English. He speaks under his breath inaudibly, perhaps frustrated, unaccustomed to scheming while others look over his shoulder. It's possible he is not as bold or as confident in his own designs as I believed. I fucking said your ass is mine, Jake English. Okie dokie then. Ah, chaps, don't you love to take a rigorous jaunt about the wilds first thing in the morning, middle thing in the day, and last thing in the evening? No! Karkat looks and feels uncomfortable in his red and gray suit. He is tired from an afternoon of campaigning in the Consort Kingdom. Jake is jaunting rigorously, I can't say that word for shit, as he put it, up the ridge of the mountain behind his mansion. Every now and then he pauses to accommodate the pace of his less limber friends. By Jove, Karkat, you are so winded by such little activity, is truly alarming. We've been hiking for a fucking hour, dipshit! I can already feel my legs starting to lock up. I think they're getting a head start on the rigor mortis. Because you're fucking killing me is what I'm saying! By making me hike through nature in a fucking suit! Great work, everyone! You'll be offering up a pre-assassinated president to a frenzied electorate! Awesome strategy! Perhaps you need a better calisthenics routine. I can suggest several alterations to your morning workout and even give you a lesson or two myself. My morning workout! I couldn't think of a more offensively presumptuous phrase if I tried. Also, what the fuck is a calisthenic? Is that the name of your fan cherub? Karkat's tirade is interrupted as he trips over a protruding tree root. Dave, who has been cheating on their hike by hovering very slightly off the ground rather than walking, catches Karkat before his face hits the dirt. He sets his companion upright and continues to guide him with his hand on his back as he walks, the way an older human does with a small child who is learning to ride a bicycle. Fitbit, are you? Okay, I thought my Fitbit was talking smack. Hey, Jake, we're cool on the whole cardio program or whatever. Karkat's not really what I call a kinesthetic learner. Hey! I can hold my own in a thrashing match better than 99% of the squishy plastic human population on this planet. I was literally training to be a combat specialist on Alternia. Maybe we should sometimes try to remember and fucking respect that fact about me? Gonna make another mental note about which material to avoid when writing your campaign speeches, like, dude is nuts with a sickle, can carve a bloody arc through a surrounding circle of gathered squishy humans, watch their guts spill on the floor while he roars at the sky in honor of his genocidal ancestors. We're kinda trying to downplay the idea that trolls are naturally good at violence and shit here. Hey, speaking of which, Jake, you wanna back Karkat in this election or not? Jake spins around in his worn boots. He bites his lip and looks at the ground. Ah, I see. That was your purpose in coming out here. Yeah, that is basically the only reason either of us would waste time climbing a mountain instead of, like, almost perfectly replicating the experience of checking out sweet stock photos of a mountain on the CrockerNet image search while spraying our hive with air freshener or something. Oh, hey, wait, that reminds me. Isn't it fucked up how Jane literally owns the internet? I never really thought about it, I admit. It's pretty fucked up, trust me. Like, she already owns the major method of information dissemination, and now she wants to be the one ultimately in control of what information gets disseminated. Do you really think one person should have all that power? The answer is no, idiot! Yeah, which is why you should back us in our campaign. Our campaign slogan for the purpose of this conversation only is, hey, isn't it cool how we're not Jane, and also we don't want to own everything, and also, man, on a more personal note, I mean, have you even seen the shit Jane's been saying about you in the media? A look of sadness sweeps across Jake's face, but he quickly turns it to a glare of indignation. I've seen the shit you've been saying about her! Your poorly optimized billboards about huge dunks on the economy and neoliberal austerity measures tumbling down geometrically improbable staircases that make quite the stir in the neighborhood. These advertisements play at all hours of the night, my good man. One could hardly get a wink of sleep. Yeah, but at least we paid for it out of campaign dollars instead of spinelessly setting up super PACs to spew out propaganda for us. Super PACs? Oh yeah, listen to this bullshit. So they're technically expenditure independent committees, meaning they can allocate unlimited funding for... Carcat covers Dave's mouth, having had the concept of the super PAC laboriously explained in his presence more than once. In his estimation, there are few individuals on this world who would benefit less from an in-depth discussion of political financing procedure than Jake English. Look, Dave, Jake really doesn't care what a super PAC is. I don't think anyone cares about a fucking super PAC. I know you put a lot of work into your spiel about it, especially the rap sequence, but you're never gonna get anybody to give a fuck about this stuff, man. I'm sorry. Jake, the point is this. Jane is having you smeared indirectly. Well, that would be the way to do it, I suppose, if you wish to keep clean hands in an inherently dirty business. Dave peels Carcat's hand off his mouth and bumps him away with his hip so that he may continue saying things he regards as terribly important for others to hear. Okay, but that's partially my point. We're doing all this propaganda in-house instead of outsourcing to unscrupulous shadow networks with deep money pockets. For better or for worse. What does that mean? As much as I appreciate your artistic vision, Dave, I think that your political ads are largely going over people's heads. They're kind of... bold? No. Oh, you mean avant-garde. Well, yeah, everyone knows that. Not really how I would put it either. Nuanced? Oh, wait, visionary. You think they're visionary as fuck? Okay, yeah, you got me. I'm a forward thinker, Carcat. This is just what life is like in the Dave lane. Buckle the fuck up. Jesus fucking Christ. I'm gonna say this for the last time. Sweet Bro and Hella Jeff is absolutely horrendous subject matter for producing campaign ads. Nobody knows what the fuck you're talking about or what points you're trying to make. Yeah, it's awesome. You're wasting campaign money! We're fucking trillionaires, dude. As the Vantis campaign bickers internally, Jake becomes pensive, thoughtful. He kicks a rock over the edge of the trail and watches it bounce down the mountain with a baleful expression. Willikers, Dave, has anyone ever told you that you have an uncanny talent for cutting straight and incisively to the point without sweating any of the bullshit? You're rather like Dirk in that way, actually. What? Dave is good at cutting through bullshit. Strider's a fog machine of pure bullshit. There's nothing that comes out of his mouth that is not bullshit. That's basically true. And I'm pretty sure Dirk might be even worse. Yeah, pretty much. Sorry, Jake. I know we're soliciting you for the sway your hot popular ass has over the people, and not exactly your brain power, so maybe this is somewhat unfair, but that may have been the worst take I've ever fucking heard in my life. Whoa, chill out, man. Remember, we're trying to woo this guy onto our side. Can you maybe go at least a solid minute without forgetting you're a fucking politician now? That means you should try not to insult everybody you meet multiple times per sentence. Fuck! Yeah, I know. I'm fucking sorry, Jake, for implying that you have slightly less cerebral processing power than the sweaty wedgie this fucking suit is giving my throbbing, hike-sore ass. Nope, that still sucks. You suck, dude. Yeah, well, chew on this, master strategist. Maybe telling me I suck is actually the smartest thing you've ever fucking said. Gentlemen, jeepers fucking Christmas. I was just trying to pay Mr. Strider a gracious compliment. Not every little pleasantry need to be taken with such blasted literalism. And I appreciate that you're trying to sway my political favor into your bungalow with a bit of the old elbow grease and cajolery, even if your methods are wont to veer into full-throated invective in virtually every single exchange, no matter how harmless the topic. And I truly mean it when I say I do appreciate the effort, both of the brown-nosing as well as the dubious restraint when it comes to impugning my noodle. But all this is adding up to make me wonder. Jake slices a hand through the air, determined to display his newfound autonomy. It's growing by the minute now that his thought process has been severed from the prince's grip. An old confidence fills him as he continues to speak, a feeling of inner freedom he hasn't enjoyed in some time. Why should I side with either of you? Flattery is all well and good, but I hardly think I would bother casting my knickers in with anyone's lot based on the quality of praise, or for that matter, withholding them, due to my ego bruised from a verbal drubbing. I'm not entirely ignorant of the rules of this jamboree. I understand that whoever I endorse will have a good chance of winning on nothing but my good word, so why should I trust anyone trying to win my favor right now? Do you have any case to make which does not involve glowing accounts of my muscular bottom? Let's see. Let me, I have to zoom in on that so I can see what he said. I know it seems like an objectively good thing from some pithy moral standpoint to let everyone in this little drama Jane's cooked up make their own decisions, but trust me, Jake isn't thinking for himself any more than he was while being indirectly controlled. Everything he's thinking and feeling right now is merely reactive. He's like a mostly dead bug twitching around on the last of its hemolymph after getting its head cut off. Under my guidance, he was like an ant, being influenced by the cordyceps fungus. You can't really call one of these better than the other, but at least the latter is being directed towards some greater purpose. Let's see. Okay, zoom back out. For a moment, Jake thinks he hears something, a minuscule voice prattling along vaingloriously, but he realizes it's only a tiny insect buzzing about his ear, a gnat-like presence of absolutely no consequence. He simply waves it away. Okay, yeah, we can do that. You mean like an actual pitch on policy or shit, or vision for the world? We can set you up, bro. I mean, this guy can. That's what he's fucking made for. Born fucking leader right here. What? Take it away, man. Our boy Jake here wants to be goddamn dazzled. Dave grins and affectionately taps Karkat on the head with his knuckles. Karkat unwinds from Dave's loose embrace, takes a deep breath, and clambers up the ridge to speak with Jake in a more personable proximity. He has learned new methods for connecting with others on the campaign trail. How to speak broadly with sweeping conviction and yet create a sense of intimacy when addressing an individual. He's learned to come across as one who was once a leader and could be again. Look, Jake! I'm not going to try to sell you some ludicrous story about how I'm the best candidate Earthsea has ever seen or anything. I'm not going to be that arrogant, especially since my arm had to be twisted right out of its socket to get me to even run. But at least we're not hiding our intentions. At this point, it's not a policy beef that I have with Jane Crocker. Yeah, I'm the one with the policy beef. Corporate welfare destroys public infrastructure. Shut up, I'm talking! Word. We're still living on an incredibly young planet. Let's be real. Every president up until now has just been some bozo basically play acting it being in charge. Because this whole time everyone's been holding their breath waiting for one of us to run. Whoever wins, me or Jane, will set the tone for subsequent administrations for who knows how fucking long. It's entirely possible that Jane will prove to be a competent president. I have no doubts on her administrative acumen, considering that's probably the only fucking thing she has going for her. Besides a series of physical attributes which I keep being told aren't too hard on the eyes, but frankly, I still don't know if I'm seeing it. I mean, she's like, alright, I fucking guess? Now, let's not be too unfair, old chat. I think I'm allowed to be unfair when she's holding the reproductive rights of my entire species hostage. Ah, point well met. Jake, she will set a horrible precedent. She's indirect, she's privileged, she's concerned with how things look rather than how things are. No matter how nice she was when you were kids, her dedication to the appearance of that niceness has already led her down a path of corruption and duplicity. Because when you live inside a skin that's a lie, you'll either grow to fit it or collapse under the unbearable weight of your own shit-spewing cognitive dissonance. Trust me, I fucking know, because I used to spew an untold amount of shit. Yeah, used to. Dude! What the fuck do you want? Get off my bulge. You wanted me to spend some fucking gold to bust out the good shit there. I said it. That was the good shit. I'm done. I did my thing. This mincing half-wit in their tiny shorts can do whatever the fuck he wants now. No, that was good, man. I was just messing with you. Good job. Great job, dude. I love it. Jake chews on the remarks for a minute. He loves Jane and Dirk dearly. He has loved both of them for years on and off in multiple fashions and configurations in accordance with human understanding of this feeling. He thinks it could break Jane's heart were he to oppose her, and yet, hasn't she fired the first shot by broadcasting such scandalous things about him in the media? And it was so soon after they nearly had an intimate reconciliation. The more he thinks on it, the more Jake struggles to believe in the sincerity behind Jane's friendship with him. And the prince? Dirk, as he knows him, hasn't been given much thought by Jake recently. Jake has been savoring the fruits of a mental liberation he is barely aware of, let alone capable of comprehending. When he considers crossing Dirk, he's not afraid of making him angry or hurting his feelings. He's simply always wanted to avoid disappointing him. And yet, with the cognitive cloud of Dirk's influence dispelled, Jake now cannot shake the feeling that the best course of action will be the one that asserts the most independence from Dirk. Disappointment be damned. And to whatever extent the prince intends to put Jake's life in jeopardy, for now, his agency remains safely obscured from his sniper sights. Well, dash my wig, I'll do it! Dash your what? Fuck yeah. Okay, that's probably a good stopping point. We're back at the Terezi and John stuff, which I'm really interested in, But I made it through some Jane stuff, which is less uncomfortable than the last Jane stuff. Made it through some Dave and Carcat stuff, so we're back on track on what the epilogue was actually about. So, I don't remember what episode this was, but this has been Let's Read a Homestuck Epilogue. If you liked it, a like and a subscribe will be groovy. If you didn't, you don't need to do either one of those things. If you'd like to click the bell, you can do that as well. And I'll see y'all in the next one. Later.